Hey, check out this clip from the Pre-Patch podcast.
All right, the next game. Go ahead, Enigma. You can get queued up for this one. Is Star Citizen. I jumped in and played Star Citizen. And purchased $150 worth of ships
Whoa.
for Star Citizen.
Real money?
Real money.
Real money.
Real money. Yeah, real money.
Hey man, I'm not gonna give you shit for this. I've literally been telling you for fucking years that this game is decent. In fact I told you before you even bought the game that it probably wouldn't be your style, and I don't really think that you would like it. I'm shocked. I'm personally extremely shocked that you've put as many hours into it as you've put.
What's the base price of the game?
45.
You can get into it for like 30, 45, yeah.
45
if you want to. Yeah.
I bought
It just
two
really
ships.
depends on what, yeah, I was gonna say, it just really depends on how, like, the experience, like the
So-
entry level experience that you want to get from it.
So did you buy like an enhanced edition, or did you spend
Well,
the 45
so-
and then 150 on top?
No.
Enhanced. He
Well, I
bought
bought two
an
ships.
yeah, he bought a more powerful ship in the form of I think the Avenger or the Titan. Which one did you
The
buy?
Avenger Titan. That's what it's called.
Yeah, that's what I saw there.
Yeah.
And what was the other one you bought?
The Galacta Cillian. Don't please any
Okay, yeah.
Star Citizen fans don't butcher me on that one.
Yeah.
But
So
no, yeah.
yeah, this one doesn't really, I mean, it when it comes down to like the enhanced edition, you're not purchasing enhanced editions, you're purchasing enhanced experiences when it comes down to like your entry into the game by buying better ships, essentially, right?
Yeah.
Like you're not buying Star Citizen Ultimate Edition or Star Citizen Premium Edition. You know, you're buying a package of Star Citizen. You're getting the same experience, you're just
Is
getting
this-
a quicker experience into like certain situations and certain things. So
Is this the game that if your ship gets like destroyed or whatnot, you're just out of that money?
No. Well, so
Okay.
No.
there's a lot. So okay, one of the things that I have been, which I knew, right, going into opening myself up to this game, was the different sides of it, right? Whether it's and we have been on this side. Myself and Enigma have talked about it, right? Like the game is never like I've never doubted that there was content to do in the game or play the game or whatever. Well, I was just basically saying like, hey, the game's never fucking coming out, right? And that may still be 100% true, right? But the like there was a lot of misconceptions and rumors and all of those kind of things around what is out there, and I had to learn them as well. If something does happen to your ship, you do have to file what's called an insurance claim. You're gonna see it happen right here, and this was me literally first time joining. Couldn't see the ground, didn't know how close I was to the fucking ground because I couldn't tell. My ship fucking blew up. So then I am now I'm now sent back to the main area. I have to like get my shit. I then have to go do an insurance claim to file to get my ship back. It cost money to get my ship back.
But
it
if you
costs
don't have
in-game
money.
It costs in-game money,
in-game money,
not
in-game
cash.
What if,
Like,
what if you don't have
cash.
in-game money?
So it's still you can expedite it, right? Is what costs the credits or not ISKs. I forgot.
Okay,
what
so it's either time or
right.
It's just credits, yeah.
Right. It's just credits. So you
Whatever
will,
the credits
you will
are.
spend in-game money to expedite that, or you can have you just have another ship, right, and you use that ship. So there's again the game is talking about like private hangars and like, oh, you could steal someone's ship and possibly store it in their hangar. There's a lot of what ifs that could happen. I think that where this game gets itself in some trouble, because again, everyone is kind of like, well, what happens if we do like, oh, well, this is supposed to happen. Well, this is supposed to happen. And people are like, well, yeah, well, that's great. But if it doesn't, if you could promise the world and it doesn't mean anything if it doesn't actually release. So
Yeah.
I am just shocked. And what I will say is that I thought the learning curve for Star Citizen was going to be fucking through the roof. I'm not going to say that it's not easy, but it's also
the first night that he fucking gets in the game, he's like, bro, I don't know what you're talking about, man. This fucking game is fucking easy. Learning
I did
curve's
not
fucking
say
nothing.
that at
I
all.
literally just
Oh
landed my ship
God.
by
I am
myself.
saying,
I'm like,
I
bro.
literally, all I said was that the learning curve for this was literally during this chat or during this stream was explained to be like, oh my God, like it's so fucking, it's hard. And, or like it's straight up. And I'm not gonna say like it doesn't, that there's not difficult things that you got to figure out, because I've asked chat every single night, like, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? Right. But what I'm just saying is that comparable to something like Tarkov, when I jump in and I'm just like, I don't know shit, and good fucking luck trying to figure it out unless you're just going to beat your head against the wall. In this, it's kind of like, okay, well,
I mean, again, you had a
yeah, I
chat
know,
helping
I know,
you.
I had
Like
chat,
if you
but they
didn't
don't, but they
have a
don't have,
chat helping
well,
you, you would have had
even
a
to
lot
no,
harder of
because
a
like,
time.
but because I started playing before chat and with the tutorial, and the tutorial was able, I was able to like, okay, cool, this is how I get into my ship, this is how I get my ship up, this is how I start flying, this is how I land, type of things. Like, yes, I had to kind of figure out and ask chat a couple different like things about like, okay, how do I do this? But like the tutorial does a good job of teaching you that, and I have felt comfortable enough to jump in and play without having to be streaming or having chats like guidance. That's what I'm saying. Like Tarkov is one of those things where it's, I feel like Tarkov is a lot more difficult than what this is to get into, and start doing.
I completely disagree with you on that one, but I've never played Tarkov, so I'm just watching you guys
It
play it. So
it's not the again, it's rough, but I also love the fact that really this game does give you kind of the option to be like, hey, you can do whatever you fucking want, right? Like you want to be a trucker, be a trucker. You want to be a fucking medic, be a medic. There's still a lot of things that are still fucked with the game and borked. Like yesterday, my ship completely just blew up out of nowhere.
yep,
Like
that's
just
Star Citizen for you.
just fucking, I was literally in the middle of finishing a mission that I had spent probably what, like 2.5 hours on, trying to get done. And then my ship blew up and I was like, well, that was 2.5 hours fucking wasted. So that doesn't feel fun. But
I just to
yeah.
just to address some of the questions in the chat. Yes, this is like Star Citizen does sell ships for thousands of dollars that aren't in the game yet. Yes, this is the game. Yes,
Right.
that is correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, whether or not you want to, pay for that, you can. There's a really good
And
take.
that
Good.
I was just about to say that is one good thing about like the current rendition of Star Citizen is like now that they have the persistent universe, which is what they're basically labeling as like they no longer have to wipe everything. Oh, I mean, I think they still do wipes. I don't quote me on that, but
They do wipes.
they no longer have to like when you go into this server, when you go into the universe and you do something, your credits are still there when you log back on. Like if you log back off and log back on, your credits are still there. The PU is now like solidified enough that like you can start buying ships. So you no longer have to you're no longer stuck to just like what ships you bought on your package essentially, which was what was the case for a long time, right? Now you can go in, you can do some space trucking, you can do some whatever you were doing with the cargo, you can steal people's ships. Yeah. Granted, you're not going to be able to keep people's ships. That's not part of it. Yeah, but that will be part of it at some point. They want it to be, but yeah,
keep it or sell.
Yeah. Well, so I stole someone's ship, shocker. And it was, I couldn't land it where I needed to land it or whatever else. You had to go to like these outskirts. So they have these cool rules and cool sets in play. I want to ask you that question. How long do you think that they can keep doing this? Like, hey, this will come, this will come, this will come.
It's I don't think they can do it for very much longer. There is actually like you got to remember this game has been in development for like since like 2012 2013, right? Like it's been in development for an extremely long time. And it's starting to get to that point now. Granted, there's probably people out there that will defend it to the fucking teeth, right? They'll go down on that ship trying to defend it and everything like that, right? I was one of those people for a long time. I was one of those people that was like, I can see the vision. I know I can see what they want to do with it, right? And I believe in it. I am slowly now starting to be one of those people that's like, okay, it's been a development enough. Like you guys need to stop promising new shit and fix and implement the shit that you have currently. Like you need to stop promising new things and just work on the fucking game and get it out, right? Because like we've now been I don't know how many years, right, where they've been promising us new shit, implementing one or two of the little things, promising new shit, and implementing one or two of the little things. Like I literally just barely got my ship that I bought a long ass time ago. I want to say like 6-7 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, right? So
Yeah.
like, yeah.
And I mean, there
So
is
I don't think they can continue to do it for very much longer, because I know that a lot of like the diehard community that would have been defending them for everything, every decision, is starting to go against them a little bit recently. So
well, and there is like the first person mode, which, I've seen good and bad. I've watched some videos. I've not
Yeah.
participated in the first person shooter mode, but I've heard good, I've heard bad. They've added, a lot of other cool stuff, but I think where we're all kind of getting, and even like me being very, new into this, and you're seeing it right here, like server error, please wait. You're just kind of like,
yeah.
okay, and if this happens in the middle of like you doing something and the server crashes, you're sent right back to the base, you're fucked. Like,
You're out of whatever you were doing. Yep.
right. Like, I think at a certain, like, what we're all kind of at is like, guys, you stop adding stuff, like, make the game completely smooth, playable, work, or whatever else. And then if you want to add more shit later, like, do that. Like, that's what an MMO
Which
does.
they have been doing. Like
Yeah,
they have been trying to do it a little bit, but it's definitely one of those things where I think that at this point it's almost like they've promised so much that it's an unobtainable goal
right.
to add everything in.
It's
right?
almost like it's almost like releasing WoW and then being like, hey, oh, we're gonna add this now, we're gonna add this now, we're gonna add this now, but like WoW is never fucking playable out, and it's somewhat feel like when you play this game, you'll be in awe at first of like, oh my god, these ships are fucking really fully rendered. Like yesterday, I was walked onto this dude's fucking, this thing was massive. And it was crazy detailed and whatever
an
else.
890 jump, which is like the super yacht of the space.
Crazy or whatever else. And it's impressive as shit. But like, I'm sitting there like, oh my god, this is amazing. But then you're like, and then you're like, this is held together with duct tape and chewing gum.
Well,
like it's,
and see that right there is a really good example, and like they completed that, like the design of that, before they completed the design of my ship, right? Or not completed it, but like implemented it into the game. My ship, the Hull C, was one of the original ships that was announced like back in 2012 2013 area, right? So like they completed the 890 jump, and I don't quote me on this, I'm not 100% on this, but I think the 890 jump came in before the Hull C, right? Like that, like the priorities are just a little shifted.
Right.
They're just a little skewed on some of these things. They've added in ships that they've just barely like announced before some of their older ships. It's just I don't know, man. It's a very weird priority scheme when it comes down to like their developments, and I don't understand it. I get that, like at least with the Hull C, a lot of people will say, well, they didn't have a way of like the Hull C when it's extended docking, so they couldn't implement it into the game at that point, because there was no way for them to be able to dock while fully extended in space. But it's one of those things where it's like you could still give me the ship, like let me see the ship that I paid money for. Don't withhold it for years and years and years until you finally do. Like that makes no sense to me. It's just I don't know, man.
I don't know. Anyway, again, I played this. I played Star Citizen. I can actively now talk about it, say I've played it. I can give my opinions on it because now I have played it. And yes, it was $150 to get 2 ships. So
well, for you could have paid $30.
I could have well, 40. It's 45. 45 is the base game.
45, again, whatever it is.
And all these ships you can get in game.
You can get in game
by playing.
By playing.
By playing, so
and getting
you
can buy
credits.
What's the grind like?
Well,
I mean,
if you stream, people will just hand you cash left and fucking right, because I got $100,000 Citizen or whatever starts in cash.
Yeah. So
money, but anyway.
So the grind is pretty decent from what I understand, but it's really up to what you want to do. Like if you want to be a bounty hunter, the grind is going to be worse, right? Like because you're going to have to contend with PvP. You're going to have to do stuff like that. If you're more of a space trucker, like I'm going to do, it might not be that bad, because like again, I have a Hull C. I can just load that bitch up and take it someplace and make thousands upon thousands of credits in one go. So it's really up to what you want to do and how you want to play the game. That's going to dictate how bad your grind is going to be, right? Like,
and you accept a bunch of
I do know that like that 890 jump that he pulled, he said that he bought that at 35 when it was 35 million, and he said that it's like I think it's like 100 million plus right now in game. So it's an interesting one.
Yeah. So
Okay.
anyway, I mean, the fun behind it is you can do what you want, be what you want, kind of idea. And, again, for $35 or $45 or whatever, or when they have a free weekend, I do recommend jumping in and trying it. You don't have to have the beefiest fucking rig to do it. But if this is your kind of thing, right? Like, don't get intimidated by all the shit that you see. It does walk you through enough to get you started or whatever else. You're gonna crash your shit, but go in, and I think for $35, $45, you can have a fun time and it's enjoyable if this is your kind of stance.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed the patch notes. And if you want to see more from the Pre-Patch Podcast, don't forget to check us out live every Thursday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, or at anchor.fm/Pre-Patch Podcast, or wherever podcasts are listened to. Hope to see you there. Much love.